Dímelo, mi gente. What's up? It's your boy Gus from Gus Villa Jewelry, back with another Q&A Fridays where I answer your burning hot questions about jewelry. As always, I put up a post on Instagram. I ask you to ask me any question you would like to know about jewelry and watches, and I'm here to answer those today. So without further ado, creep, hit me with that intro music.
Jewelry.
Now, before I start, I just want to give 2 seconds of appreciation to my brand new setup. All right, anyway, question number 1 comes from DN_Marcus_92. He wants to know spotting differences between sterling silver and white gold. It's a pretty easy way to spot the difference between the two. Number 1, white gold is always going to have some sort of like metallic background. That's if it's not finished with rhodium, which 99.99% of the time, whenever you get a gold chain, it's dipped in rhodium if it's white gold. Sterling silver has more of a kind of an opaque shine to the whiter side of it. You kind of have to look at it over and over and over to really tell the differences just with the naked eye. I can probably tell the difference because I work with silver and I also work with white gold very often. It's much easier to distinguish the two when it doesn't have the rhodium finish. Then the white gold has more of a metallic color. Sometimes if the mixture isn't done properly, or maybe there's more yellow gold in that mixture, that white gold is going to have kind of like a yellowish undertone, but ultimately it's pretty easy to spot on. The more pale whitish looking color, that's the silver, and the darker, more metallic one, that's the gold. Both are very, very beautiful. I got a lot of people who really like white-based metals. I am a fan of them myself, and for that reason, we do sell white gold with a rhodium finish, or we also sell silver and Cuban links and other types of chains and other types of jewelry as well. So that's a great question. Now, before I move on to that second question, just before I get bombarded with a million of these same exact questions, what kind of chain are you wearing? Today, it's a 9mm, 140 gram, 10 karat, 24 inch. Check it out, looks good, and it's for sale. Question number 2 comes from J23_2017. He wants to know, why don't you make your sleek locks handmade? Phenomenal question. As I always say, every question is phenomenal, but this one happens to be a good one. Typically with handmade box locks, you're fighting gravity, and that's because the tension of the male part of the clasp will wear out after a while.
I better use my strong hand.
And the reason why you do it all handmade is because you want that tension to last a longer period of time. Plus, there's also a couple of other things, like for instance, the aesthetic of it. You want the links to match perfectly because it's one line of links. You don't get those situations where you get a huge 12mm lock and then the chain is 10mm and it looks really ugly. So, but sleek locks are made handmade if you want to. We like to do them with a computer programming. It's much faster to do them and it's precise. Everything locks exactly the way it's supposed to be locked because we design it digitally in a program. Once we print them out and cast them, the longevity of a sleek lock's cap, or so the part that flips over, also known as a flip lock, that's the part that wears over time. We're able to design it to make it thicker around it so that it doesn't lose that tension. Just for sleek locks, I personally like them to be designed. But if you do want a handmade sleek lock, we can do it for you as well. However, my personal recommendation, just get it casted because I can design that top part to be a lot harder and a lot more tension on there. So yeah, great question. Question number 3 comes from Gerald Brent. Shout out to Gerald Brent. I know you just bought some pieces from us. Hope you really like them. Selling off a Cuban with diamonds versus a plain gold one. That is a question that I have to unfortunately answer all the time. And not to get real serious about things because I kind of like to keep this lighthearted, but it's a real problem when people come and sell me their chains that are not just solid gold. Here's the thing about solid gold. What you're investing in is the gold price at the current day's market plus the labor and retail price on top of that. When you're talking about anything that you're putting diamonds inside of it, as beautiful and as costly as they are, you are losing a lot of money when you go to resell it. And that's just the reality of it. I won't sugarcoat it. I won't beat around the bush. The reality is you are going to lose a crap load of money because number 1, no one's going to give you back what you paid for those diamonds. I don't care if they're VVS quality. I don't care if they're flawless. I don't care if Mother Teresa herself went into a cave and handpicked each one of those diamonds and cut them herself. It don't matter. I'm not giving you anything for them. I'm giving you maybe 20 to 30% of the value of that. So you're going to lose the money in the diamonds, plus the labor that it costs to pop those diamonds inside those either preset or pave holes. Pause when I said that. Never mind that. or pave holes.
Pause.
It doesn't matter what you choose to go with. If you put diamonds in there and you go to resell them, you are going to lose a crap load of money. So if you just want to do it for an investment or maybe as a savings account, which is what really gold is when you buy it within the realm of jewelry, plain gold is going to be the best bet. Stop putting diamonds in it if you are doing it for return on your investment, because it's going to be losing your money. Now, that being said, I do put diamonds in a lot of chains. However, it's not doing it because it's a savings account, because you will lose money, but it's still really dope. And I still encourage people to do it, obviously, because I sell it. Let's be serious. But at the same time, it's a vibe. Diamonds are a vibe. Shiny stones are a vibe. They will always be a vibe, but you're not going to be doing it because if ever you resell it, you're not going to get your money back. That's just the truth. And I'd be bullshitting you if I say anything else. Question number 4. Luke Fly Talkers wants to know, what are the advantages to buying gold over silver chain? It's for the people who don't necessarily want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Here's your option. I sell gold over silver. I have a beautiful gold over silver Miami Cuban link chains that are handmade and plated in real 14K gold. It differentiates me from pretty much the entire market because we hand make them out of actual silver, which number one is a precious metal that does have some sort of value. And we plate them with real gold. We don't plate them with cheap, different types of gold alternatives or lacquer paint or anything like that. This is actual gold over silver. Now, that being said, you are buying strictly the look. I'll be lying to you and I would be completely discrediting myself as a jeweler if I tell you that there's some sort of investment behind buying gold over silver. No, it's not that. Essentially, what you're paying for is a metal like silver, which is relatively inexpensive, that gives you the look of having something that's a lot more expensive. Now, what are the benefits of it? You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get the same look. If you're just trying to wear a chain every day, or you're just trying to go out and you're trying to stun, maybe you don't necessarily want to spend $10, $15, $20, $25,000 on something like that.
Not bad if you got it legal.
You could spend a fraction of the cost, usually within 10% of what the gold comparison would be, and you buy something that looks exactly the same. People always ask me, hey Gus, can you send me some pictures of gold over silver? There would literally be no difference if I send you a gold one or gold over silver, because they are identical. They weigh the same, they look the same. The only difference is one eventually is gonna fade because of course it's plated, and the other one is solid gold, and if you ever go to resell it, there's some money behind it. That's the differences. The benefits, yeah, you save some bread and you get the same look. So, good question. Next one. Question number 5, and the last question comes from Nighttime Bully 51. He wants to know, can 10K carat or gold in general set off a metal detector at an airport or a courthouse? What about silver? You can and it can't. It just depends. If it's silver, no, it's not going to set off anything, because usually most metal detectors are looking for alternative metals, things that are unsafe. So in other words, if someone has a gun, if they're fake chains, like if they're like stainless steel or brass, those will set off in most metal detectors. However, gold is not something that they detect for, because usually any harmful items are done with pure gold, because no one's going to set off a 24 karat gun. It's just not going to happen. So it doesn't matter. However, there are certain types of carats of gold that are more prone because of the mixture inside of them. So as an example, if you have an 18 karat, maybe even a 14 karat or a 22 karat chain, because there's so much gold in there, most of the metal detectors aren't going to detect that alloy mix that's in there. However, if you do have a 10 karat chain, 90% of the time it's going to pass that metal detector, but it will sometimes, depending on how good that metal detector is, set it off, because again, it's 58.3% of alloy in that mix, and that alloy can have copper, stainless steel, nickel, and that may go off. So it just depends on the metal detector, but the higher carat you have, the more guarantee it's not going to go. I wear 10K all the time. I go through those metal detectors. I fly literally all the time, and I've never had it detect mines, but I've had people that have had 10K earrings and even a 10K chain, and it did set off that metal detector, probably because the alloy had some copper or some sort of brass in it. That about does it for another Q&A Fridays, guys. And next week, we're going to actually be switching it up. I'm going to be getting the questions from Instagram. I'm also going to be getting them from the comments down below. So if you have any questions, drop it down below. You might see it in next week's episode. If you guys haven't seen our latest video on moissanite and how it compares to diamonds, we're gonna link it up right here. Make sure to check that out. As always, subscribe to the channel, give this a big thumbs up, hit the notification bell so when we release another video or next week Q&A Fridays, you guys are gonna be the first ones to actually check it out. Share this with anyone you would think to find this content useful. And as always, we love you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, if you wanna buy a chain, Cuban link chain, moissanite, whatever the hell you want, custom pieces, pendants, Rolexes, whatever the hell it is you want, contact us. GusVillaJewelry.com, #1 source out there. Call me. I'm ready to answer them. I'll answer them myself. Holla at me. See you guys in the next video.